So I am here with Kim. I'm really excited to be here and thanking you in advance, Kim, that you are taking the time to jump on here. Kim is just wrapping up with the Academy, which is my 6-month coaching program, but she's also started off doing the 6-week metabolic jumpstart program. And funnily enough, we just chatted about and combining the two and actually having a plan that essentially works going forwards as well, which is really, really important. So first thing I wanted to ask you, Kim, is what initially, when we just go back in time, before you started the 6-week metabolic jumpstart, what was your initial motivation and drive for embarking on a journey and on wanting to make some changes?
Well, basically, for me, it was just after Christmas. Like so many people, it's just like that, right? I've had too much sweet stuff mostly and too much gut rot. And I had just learnt that I was about to become a grandmother. And so that was the motivation combined with both those things that like I've got to start getting fit and I've got to start getting healthy. And I'm in menopause and I just was all of a sudden that push that you need to make a good start and do something to help yourself get healthy.
I love that, because quite often a lot of people do just initially focus on the weight, but it's the longevity and the feeling good and having the energy, and nothing better than having
Yeah.
a grandchild on the way to fast forward thinking,
Mm.
well, they're going to keep me on my toes and I want to be around, and I've got things to look forward to. And yes, absolutely, like you say, Christmas is that time of the year where a lot of people do obviously have one too many drinks, overindulge in barbecues and pavlova, you name it. It's quite common. So yeah, I love that. It's quite health centered, as opposed to just focusing on weight loss itself. And tell me, and I know you had a few, but what were some of the obstacles that you encountered along the way? And I'd love for you to share how you managed to sort of overcome them and keep on going.
Well, I think like my people, things like work functions were always a bit of an issue, because I was brought up to think of things like that they're always a treat, and they're the times that you are help yourself to those little naughty things and stuff like that. So they were always a little bit a bit hard to navigate, but it was just the motivation to push through it. And as I got further into the second phase of things, when I learned about the calorie cycling and just knowing, that I could do that. And I think probably the biggest thing is not to give yourself a hard time and not to get really sort of down about the fact that, okay, like we had a work function at work and I had a couple of savories and, like I've done bad, and I just wasn't going to knock myself out over that, because it was okay. And tomorrow's another day and I'll get back on track. And I think for me, I think that was really important, like not to kind of make a big deal out of it, to know that, okay, well, I can pick myself up tomorrow and start again and be good, and, maybe cut back on a little bit of something the next day. There's always going to be things like that. I had family move in with me, which made the meal cooking at times a bit hard. But yeah, it was just about sticking to the menus as best as I could.
Yeah, that's so powerful, because for a lot of people it is either like work functions or social outings, or when they go on holiday. It's very easy when you are in full
Mhm.
control of your food choices and you don't have too many other family members to think about. But at the end of the day, the sustainability is really important. And what you don't want, and I love that you touched base on that, is you don't want to have a bad relationship with food where you might end up having something that you didn't plan on having, and then you feel guilty afterwards. So it's okay to have certain foods, and you can like you said with the calorie cycling, totally incorporate them into your weekly goals and targets. So yeah, that's a really big one. You've had lots of work commitments and lots of family stuff
Yeah,
going
it's a game
on.
changer for me. It was fantastic.
Yeah. And so I would love to know what you feel like, what the Academy and also the Metabolic Jumpstart program, what kind of sets it apart from things that you've tried previously in terms of the point of difference, perhaps?
Well, look, I guess initially for me, probably looking at it from the whole kind of the whole the woman my age menopause thing, and just the difference of that. Then you take a lot for granted when you're younger and all of that sort of thing, and the dieting, and this is more of a complete change, I suppose, a complete eating change, and how that's affecting my body now. I learnt so much through the program relations to the hormones and what type I was, and all of that sort of stuff was invaluable to learn, because it's not really something I knew a lot of, and it's not really something I thought about, to be honest. So I found that invaluable. Yeah, and just learning more about the food that you take for granted.
Mm.
Like, food is just something I've tended to just eat as as a habit almost. I found the support that goes with the program is amazing as well. Like, just, all the other ladies, just knowing you're in the same boat as everybody else, and the support, and yeah, no, it's been fantastic.
Oh, that's great. You actually just touched base on my next question, which was referring to the level of support, because I know from my own experience doing different things in the past, before obviously getting into the coaching space, that, you might be given a plan, but it always kind of lacked the accountability and the support factor. So I know from my own experience that, you can be given the perfect plan, but unless you have that, and unless you're surrounded by women who are on the same path, it's a lot harder to sort of do it on your own and just rely on perhaps other family members who, most of us got partners and other family members, and they understand it's important, but they don't fully get the whole, the hormone side of things and what us women go through. And we're obviously emotionally a lot more attached to a lot of things. So being surrounded by other ladies who are also, having that shift in hormones and wanting to take care of themselves and lose the weight is really helpful. And yeah, so you already touched base on that question. What would you say are some sort of positive transformations and outcomes that you have witnessed since the start of your journey? So we're talking both physically and emotionally. You already touched base on some, like just a minute ago. Just lost you, but we're getting back into it. Just cut out. Can you hear me okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I hope it still has the other one recorded, but we'll just see how we go. So I was just asking you what sort of transformations you have witnessed since the beginning of your journey, both sort of physically but also emotionally.
So I think with the initial Jumpstart program, within maybe 3 weeks, I think that was probably the biggest sort of light bulb moment, I guess, in a way, for me. And the biggest thing that I found was my sleep. I couldn't, for the first time in so long, I was actually sleeping better. And for me, I couldn't believe how quickly that started, how quickly that began. And it just kind of, it went from there, like the lack of sugar cravings, and just the sleep, that, like I say, how much sleep I was getting, and that in itself then adds to you feeling so much better. So I think that was probably the biggest thing I took away from it in the beginning, quite early on. just the knowledge about better food choices, just feeling better generally in myself, just, yeah, wanting to have that more energy, wanting to go out and do the work, the walking and pick up the steps, and being accountable, knowing on a monthly basis that you had to be accountable. But it was just, I mean, yeah, it's just been amazing. I can't sort of speak highly enough about it. And yeah, it's just the knowledge I think I've learned in yeah, making better food choices.
Yeah, yeah, I love that because quite often it's one thing to be told, here's your meal plan, but a lot of ladies then don't actually understand why, certain foods are important and why you don't have to completely cut out entire food groups. But again, it just comes down to a lack of awareness, right? So that's why I am actually hugely passionate about, the educational side of things, because if we understand something, we're much more likely to implement it and then ultimately stick with it as well. So yeah, I'm really pleased that you found that helpful as well.
Mm,
And then I've got one final question, but again, you kind
mm.
of already touched base on it. What
Okay.
would you suggest for someone that might be sitting on the fence? Because obviously for some people it's change is scary and it's easy to stay the same. What would you say to someone who is sitting on the fence, who might be considering doing a program but isn't quite sure whether or not it's gonna work for them?
Look, it's you've just got to give it a try. I mean, I guess, it comes down to you. All programs are different, and all programs might not work for everybody. But I think this one is especially like it's a complete package with your food, your meal planning, your support, the calorie counting, my fitness pal thing. I've got to say I wasn't a fan of that to begin with, but I think that's essential for learning what your food is that you're doing. But people, I think, don't leave it so long. I think looking back now, especially going through menopause, I left it too long. I should have, I wished I'd found this 4 years ago. It would have just made such a difference. And I think it's just taking that leap, and you've got nothing to lose really.
That's true, because at the end of the day, it's never too late, and quite often we're actually being told, "Oh, just suck it up," so to speak. It's normal. You're going through menopause. This is how it is. It's normal to gain weight. It's normal to get the hot
Mm.
flashes and all of those things. So, but it's
Yeah.
never too late to actually make a change, because I always see health is so crucial, because if you're not feeling good and you're not healthy, it just changes everything around you, in terms of the things that you enjoy doing, and just
Mm.
the longevity at the end of the day. You want to live a happy and healthy life, so in that sense it is yeah, vital. But sometimes, like, I've talked to other women before and they're almost like, well, nothing I've tried is working. So I can understand how people can be hesitant, because it's a big commitment, not just to yourself but also to the process, right? And trying something that is a little bit different to the usual, eat less, exercise more, and like you said, with the structuring the
Yeah.
calories, and knowing what is required to actually help you get there. Anyone can cut out sugar and processed foods and get some initial results, but it's not going to be enough to get you to the finish line. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing your honest feedback and your experience. And yeah, I really appreciate your time.